Hello and welcome to this tutorial on how to enter your own personal multiple choice assessment items into the SchoolCity assessment platform. While SchoolCity offers a multitude of ways to assess student learning, we're focusing in only the basic multiple choice assessment test items in this tutorial. We're going to go ahead and get started by having each of you log into a web browser. Google Chrome works the best with SchoolCity. I already have my Google Chrome brought up, so loaded already up to SchoolCity. However, when you start to load up your Google Chrome, in the URL or web search bar, you need to type in the following. You need to type in putnamcounty.schoolcity.com. And again, that's putnamcounty.schoolcity.com. Once that screen loads up, and of course you'll be able to see it here on my screen, you will have staff access boxes located at the top right. You've already been provided with these credentials, which should include the initial of your first name and your last name together. You've been given a password as well. Once you enter this information in, go ahead and click Sign In. My credentials are already populated in the boxes, so I'm going to go ahead and click Sign In. Once you log in, a Launchpad screen will appear. Please click the 9 boxes icon located just to the right of the word Launchpad on your screen. So as you see here, it's the 9 boxes, so you want to click that. It's going to bring up a new set of icons. You want to click on Item Banks because we are going to be creating an assessment item and placing it in the item bank. In the top right of the new screen, click on the drop-down menu labeled Item Bank Workspace. It's going to populate with 3 options: District Workspace, School Workspace, and My Workspace. Even though we are creating it, we're going to house it on the District Workspace. So make certain that you click the District Workspace. Once the District Workspace is loaded up on the screen, please click on the green button labeled Create Item. Click on that green button. It's the third one from the right. And it's going to bring up an Item Info screen. What we're going to do here is we're actually going to label the actual assessment item. We're going to give it a name. So for example, the assessment item that I am going to type in, my item name is going to be WHU1Q3. Now what that tells me is that this is World History, Unit 1, question number 3. Because this is a tutorial over multiple choice items, from your item type drop-down menu, we're going to select multiple choice. This is not a pilot item. We're actually going to employ this assessment item in future assessments. So we're going to leave that no. With the subject area, the SchoolCity platform needs to know where this particular assessment item is going to be housed. So from this drop-down menu, click on History and Social Science. It's going to put it basically in that folder. Because high schools have grade levels, students in various grade levels in various subjects, you're going to have a mixture. So for this assessment item, we're going to click 9, 10, 11, and 12. And what that means is that students that are coded as 9th graders, 10th graders, 11th graders, and even 12th graders will have access to this assessment item on any future assessments that you may give in world history. There are no course groups built yet, so we're going to skip over this, but we're going to come down to course. You're going to select, and what you would like to do here is to select the subject or the courses that this assessment item is going to be correlated with. So for example, I have an advisement group, a U.S. history group, a world history group, and then another world history group. I'm going to select World History, and you notice here it's going to give a check mark to the right. That means that those two courses, those two sections have been identified as where this assessment item will be administered to. Because this is not an ELA class, and we do not have any passages to read for this multiple choice item, we're going to skip over passage, link passage. That's going to be another tutorial later on. We're not going to include any teacher instructions with this because this is a basic multiple choice simplified question or assessment item. The next one is going to say question. This is where you're going to actually type in your question. So the question that I have is, what is monotheism? And if you notice here, as soon as I started typing, some tools populated on the screen right above the question. These are formatting tools. So if you wanted to make monotheism bold, you could select it, highlight it, and then of course you would notice here that it was bold. You may use any of these tools up here for your question item at your likes. So I'm going to unselect bold, and we're just going to leave it as a normal, regular question. Nothing fancy. For the total possible points, again, as this is simply a basic multiple choice assessment item, we're going to leave the total possible points at 1. The number of choices is 4. That's what we have this defaulted as. However, you could go up to 5, and if you notice here, that will give you more distractors. Okay, and the types of choices you can choose over here. You can do A, B, C, D, and E, or you can do 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, this is a personal preference based on the teacher. So I'm going to go back to 4. And of course, that is going to give me A, B, C, and D. You can also choose how you would want this to look either on the screen or either printed out, the answer choice format. Do you want it vertical? Do you want it horizontal, or do you want it stacked horizontal or stacked vertical? Again, because this is a default, we're just going to simply go with vertical. Now, the locked choices order is very important. Once you put your main answer into the answer choice box, you can choose to either have it locked or you can have it unlocked. Now, what this means is when you administer this assessment with this assessment item in an online format, the platform will basically choose which position this assessment item, where it's located at on the as far as the answer choices are concerned. However, if you say lock choices order, okay, so we're going to select yes. Okay, so we want to lock this in, and so we're going to choose B. Okay, so we're going to choose B, and that's going to tell me that all of these answer choices and the distractors will always be in the same position on the assessment, even online. Because I have chosen B, I'm going to go ahead and type in the correct answer. What is monotheism? It is belief in one God. You must also, however, come up with distractors. And again, the rule for distractors is you want them similar in nature in both length as well as correlation. So we're going to come up with some other distractors. What is... let me back up and say belief in Christianity. Okay, and again, you got the formatting tools here, and I'm going to use those formatting tools as spell check. Okay, so belief in Christianity, belief in Hinduism. It's going to be another distractor, and then yet another one is going to be belief in more than one God. Okay. Now that we have our correct answer chosen, we have our distractors in place. Okay. We're going to come over here and we're going to select Save. A dialog box will appear in just a moment. There it is. It'll say item info saved successfully. So what you want to do is click OK. Come back down here and click Next. That's going to bring us up to the next screen. This screen is our standard screen. From this screen, this is where we will associate the assessment item that we have just created with our Georgia Standards of Excellence or Georgia Performance Standards that correlate with the subject area that we are teaching. Because this is a world history course, I'm going to scroll down and I'm going to select World History Standards. Now, if you notice on the right side of the screen, all of the standards that are associated with 9th grade through 12th grade world history populated on the screen. Because this is a Unit 1 assessment item, and Unit 1 contains standards SSWH1 and all of the elements, SSWH2 and all of the elements, as well as SSWH3 and all of the elements, we must look through these elements and find where this question may be, or what this question may be associated with in terms of the elements. So we're going to look through these elements. And if you notice here, the question is, what is monotheism? And here, up under SSWH1C, it says, explain the development of monotheism. Include the concepts developed by the ancient Hebrews. So this is going to be an appropriate element for our assessment item. So we have checked that. We're going to come down here and click Save. Again, a dialog box is going to appear. It's going to say Standard Selection Saved Successfully. Again, make certain that you click OK. Come back to the right-hand corner and click Next. The next screen that will be coming up is a property screen. It's going to give the test administrator and test writer certain options to choose for each assessment item. The first assessment item that is, or properties that it's going to give us is how are we going to administer this? Are we going to give it online? Are we going to give it on paper and actually print it out? Or are we going to do a combination of both? For our purposes here, we're going to check online as well as paper. Other tools, as you can see from the screen, include having calculator access, equation editors, and even uploading some media. Okay. However, because again, this is a basic multiple choice assessment tutorial for world history, none of this is going to apply. However, we will have a few things that will apply. And that is, if you look up under additional tools, we're going to have text-to-speech and we're going to have text magnifier. The reason I chose text magnifier and text-to-speech is because we may have some students that may have difficulty hearing, they may need, or reading, they may need it read to them, or they may have vision problems where they may need to see the actual wording a little bit larger on the screen, so the text magnifier. We're also going to identify where this assessment item would fit in terms of Bloom's taxonomy. So from the drop-down menu, we're going to bring up Bloom's taxonomy. Because this is a basic recall question, we're going to simply check on remember. Because again, the question is, what is monotheism? Just simply rote memorization. The depth of knowledge is simply recall. And the difficulty level is low. We're not going to mess with the point by serial number or p-value. We're going to leave those two blank. We're going to come over here and click Save. Now, if you notice, a dialog box popped up, and we're going to click OK. Come back to the right-hand corner and click Next. The next screen will show you how your test item is going to look. And if you notice there, it's going to give the item preview. It's going to give you the assessment item name, which is right here. Okay, that's the assessment item name, but then it's also going to give you the actual assessment item. It's got the correct answer there, belief in one God, as well as the distractors that we added. If you look over here on the right-hand side, it's going to give you the item properties. Item type, choices, orders, lock, pilot, all of this stuff which we just walked through. Okay? So everything looks great. We are ready to publish our item. We are ready to put it into an actual test bank so that we can actually, when we go to create test, this will be one of the assessment items that is basically in the pool that we can kind of select from. So we're going to come down and click Publish Item. And if you notice, a box will appear in the middle of the screen. These are all of the item banks. So think of the item banks here as basic folders. So where are we going to put this assessment item that we've created? Where are we going to do this? So we're actually going to put this in GSE World History. Okay? And we're going to click Publish. Alright, so it says one item published successfully to the GSE World History Item Bank, and we're going to click OK. And it's got on here unpublished. If we realize that we have some sort of error, we could go back in and unpublish that and correct it. Otherwise, we have just successfully created a multiple choice assessment item in the SchoolCity platform. In order to create another assessment item, you simply go back to District Workspace and start the process all over again. Thank you for listening.